Silverstone is the venue for the second weekend in the Formula Renault 2-litre Northern European Cup. It's another busy grid. It's the full Grand Prix circuit in use this weekend, and we come here ready for race one on the back of a doubleheader at Monza with two different winners, namely Louis Delatraz and Yukiya Sasahara, and they are going to be at the front of the grid ready for this first race of the weekend. Callan O'Keefe, in fact, was the second qualifier, but he set his best lap time under red flag conditions and was therefore subject to that time being taken away. His second best time put him third on the grid. Sasahara, winner at Monza, promoted to the front row. But pole position is for Louis Delatraz. The track temperature, 17 degrees. It's getting a little bit warmer at Silverstone. It was fairly chilly early on in the day. Humidity, 72%. And the track is dry, thankfully. We've had quite a bit of rubber put down already as well, because it's been a busy circuit with cars on track for GT qualifying, Lamborghini qualifying and AutoGP race as well. And as you look down onto the grid, Kevin Jörg is one of the drivers for the Josef Kaufmann team and a race winner within this championship last year. Kevin Jörg, I think, has just arrived a little bit late onto the grid. There was a couple of stragglers before the grid was completed, but Kevin Jörg will line up 8th on the grid, and certainly a driver well worth watching. As I say, he was a race winner in the championship last year. Max de Forny, who is the son of former GT racer and indeed Belgian Grand Prix promoter Didier de Forny, with the ART Junior team car, he lines up 7th on the grid, 3rd in the championship as well. He was very good at Monza. He did a good job of scoring points. And here at the home of the British Racing Drivers Club, there will be interest for British drivers as well. And one of them is Harrison Scott, who is racing this year within the Formula Renault Euro Cup, same sort of car, and he is elected to come and take part in the Silverstone races within the Northern European Cup this weekend. And Harrison Scott, number 39, will line up 6th on the grid. It's the one-by-one staggered grid as normal. And Harrison Scott will be one to watch around here as well. He knows the national circuit from racing in British Formula Ford last year, but not the Grand Prix circuit necessarily, but he's driving for the AVF team here as he drives for them in the Euro Cup. And 5th on the grid is one of the Manor MP Motorsport cars in the hands of Dennis Olsen, who was 3rd in the NEC 2 years ago, so an experienced Formula Renault racer. And Dennis Olsen 5th in the championship on the back of his results at Monza a month ago. Dennis Olsen then lines up 5th, working forwards 4th. Another of the ART Junior team cars with the Swiss driver Darius Osqui at the wheel of it. And Darius Osqui, who has come from the Formula Renault Alps as well as the Formula Renault Euro Cup into the Northern European Cup this year. There he is, ready to go with the ART Junior team car. ART, of course, now moving into the DTM, but a very experienced team, well versed in terms of running junior single-seater programs. Also seen the running a GT program of late as well, ART, with McLaren's in Blancpain. And indeed, it is another of the ART Junior team cars that qualified 3rd, but will start 2nd, just one row ahead, because after Callan O'Keefe's grid drop, his Fortec Motorsports car is going to be 3rd on the grid. And there is Callan O'Keefe, the South African driver who raced in the championship last year. In fact, went well in the championship last year, and will be one to watch, I think, over the course of this race. He had a win at Assen, it was last year, so he's certainly capable of running up at the front, but he's got a bit of work to do now, having been dumped back one place on the grid. So the front row is to be locked out by the two drivers who won at Monza. And Yukiya Sasahara won the first race, and he will start 2nd on the grid. At Monza, we were being told it's only Sasahara's one appearance in the Northern European Cup, because he will go off and do the Euro Cup, but he's back this weekend and may indeed now see out the full season. And that will make life difficult for the man on pole position, Louis Delatraz, the son of Jean-Denis Delatraz, former GT and Formula 1 racer. And Louis Delatraz had honours in race 2 at Monza, and I suppose in a sense really should have won the first one, but he made a mess of the start onto the green flag lap, bogged down, got away, and instead of starting at the back as he should have done, he worked his way through to the front and therefore was given a drive-through penalty for his pains. But here Delatraz needs to get it absolutely right. He drives for the Josef Kaufmann racing team, one of the top squads in Formula Renault. The grid is complete then. It is 25 cars strong, and the grid stretching right the way back towards Woodcote Corner here. The start line, of course, in a different place from the finish line at Silverstone. So you have the start line midway down the pit straight. The cars turn their way then through Copse Corner and the speed builds up towards the fabulous Beckett's S's left-right-left sequence. 1 minute to go, the board being prepared, and the engineers will now fire up the engines and make their way off the grid. So the race distance is not a set number of laps, it's a duration of 25 minutes. The flag goes out the first time the leader crosses the line once those 25 minutes have been completed, and as the grid is cleared very shortly, the race director, then Eichinger, will release the cars, and then we'll be good to go for this third round of the championship. The series partners the Blancpain Endurance Series for many of the rounds, but it also next goes to the Red Bull Ring along with the German GT Championship. Then it goes to Spa for the 24 hours, Assen a standalone event, Nürburgring with Blancpain, and it finishes with a 3-race format, in fact at Hockenheim again with German GT at the end of the season. So the cars in a moment will be released. It's a chance to get some warmth into the Michelin rubber, and as soon as the race director is content, then the cars will be released. Everybody, of course, with the same Tetios-built chassis. These cars with a top speed of 250 kilometers an hour if you get a good tow. Of course, 2-litre engines, and the Tetios chassis with the Renault engine, 2-litre engine, 210 brake horsepower, 7-speed paddle shift gearboxes these days. They weigh in at 582 kilos, and although domestic Formula Renault is no longer as common as it was, the championship virtually having disappeared, regional Formula Renault championships very popular indeed, and this is certainly one of the very strong ones, with Louis Delatraz then starting on pole position. Okio Sasahara will be alongside him, Callan O'Keefe will be third, and then it is Darius Osqui fourth on this amended grid, ahead of Dennis Olsen and Harrison Scott sixth. Seventh is where you will find Max Stofforny, and then Kevin Jurg lines up 8th on the grid. As I say, he's going to be one to watch. 9th, it is the car of Ignacio D'Agusto. Colin Noble, the Scot out of Radical Racing, and the BARC Formula Renault Championship is next, ahead of Alex Gill and Enrique Chavez. Then it's Charlie Eastwood and Josef Zaruba for AVF. Zachary Clement de Mello comes next on the grid, ahead of Nikita Mazepin. Then you've got, looking further down the grid, Luke Chudley in his Fortec car, ahead of Raul Rahoj-Meyer, who had a spin yesterday and caused the red flag. He's ahead of Johan Daruvala, who is fourth in the championship, a long way back on the grid. Robin Hansen and Pontus Fredriksson come next, ahead of Ferdinand Habsburg, and then it is Bartolomei Mieritsky, who is next on the grid, and David Richer, the Canadian driver, will complete the grid. So that is how they line up, and the cars working their way out of Club Corner, past the wing, of course, the Formula One start and finish area, but for this weekend it is the so-called heritage pits that are being used, the old pits as it were, coming out of Woodcote Corner, and that means that the drivers still have half a lap or so to go. This is the re-profiled Abbey, where you turn right these days rather than left, and then into the new sequence of corners. So left at Farm, short straight, up to the right at Village, burst of acceleration, anchor up, turn left into the loop, then it's still a left, but it opens up a little bit into Aintree, and then down Wellington Straight. Wellington Straight these days with a good run out of this section of the circuit, the fastest part of Silverstone. Then you go down towards Brooklands and into the stadium. So Brooklands left, right through Luffield, right again through Woodcote and up over the timing line. So in qualifying yesterday, the cars were lapping at just below 2 minutes. So we're going to be on, I would propose, for 13 laps, unless we get any safety cars. And that has been known in Formula Renault. Of course, with everybody having the same machinery, it's down to driver skill and how well you work with the team to get the best out of that car engine package. Free practice sessions they have, and then 2 short qualifying sessions, and testing very restricted these days in Formula Renault. One of the reasons that people can't do a dual Euro Cup and a regional program is because of the restriction, not on racing but on testing. And you can only do so many test sessions, and if you do all of those, then you can't go off and race anywhere else. So you have to sort of balance racing in a different championship against Euro Cup test days, for example. It all gets a bit convoluted, but what it does mean is that drivers aren't spending a lot of money going testing day after day after day and burning a hole in their budget, and also therefore that the cars don't run on rails and we get better racing as a result. So to the grid they come, and pole position for Louis Delatraz, who needs to make sure, having got it away well on the green flag lap, that he makes a good start for the change of the lights. He lines up ready to go. It will be Okio Sasahara with him at the front in the ART junior team car. And Sasahara, given the way that he went at Monza, could well be a race winner here as well. So let's see how we fare. 25 minutes are in prospect. The last couple of cars slot into place at the back of the grid now, and as soon as we have a green flag, that's the indication for the starter to show the 5-second board, and then the lights will be switched to red. In fact, we've still got a couple of cars creeping into place, haven't we? Because at the very back there is David Richert, the Canadian. Right, he's arrived, the 5-second board is shown, and then have a look at that lighting gantry, because the lights will glow red any second. They do now. Engine notes rise. Round 3 of Formula Renault 2-litre Northern European Cup is go, and a good start made by Sasahara. 1 and 2 get very committed and try and take all the road for themselves as they dive down towards Copse Corner for the first time. Everybody safely through thus far, and as they sprint their way now up towards Beckett's, is it Delatraz or is it Sasahara who's been able to make the break? It looks as though it's Delatraz who's converted pole position on the racing line as well on the outside into the lead. Of course, he has all the rubber on that side of the track, so it does help him propel away, and Delatraz leads as they work their way for the first time through the Beckett's S's, and then they will make the run onto the Hanger Straight. Coming out of Chapel Curve for the first time, 1 and 2 run a little bit wide and just clip the curbs. But down they come then, heading into the braking zone for Stowe Corner for the first time of asking, and Louis Delatraz doing his level best now to get away. Good little battles rage on lower down the order. Cars turning their way through Stowe for the first time, down through Vale then, and it was Delatraz ahead in that first sector of Sasahara, and then it's Callan O'Keefe running in 3rd spot and trying to go with him, in fact, as the cars now turn their way up towards the exit of Club, this long right that goes on forever. You've got to be so patient, and now onto the power they come, with O'Keefe trying every which way to get past Sasahara as they work their way up towards Abbey. Wide on the curbs there, Callan O'Keefe in 3rd place, and in fact, because of that now, he's about to be caught, I think, with Dennis Olsen closing up as well. And we've got, what, 4 of them now, all trying to be second, which plays into the hands of Louis Delatraz, who's getting away. The cars work their way now up towards the loop. Callan O'Keefe in his 3rd place, trying to attack, trying to defend all at the same time. And while he is busy defending like this, so just edging away slightly ahead of him is Ukio Sasahara. But look at the lead that Delatraz has pulled already as they work their way then now down towards Brooklands. Down Wellington Straight they come. Everybody fans out, trying to break the toe, trying to get an advantage as well if they can on the inside line, going into the corner. One gets forced out wide there, up towards the end of the lap. Then they come absolutely wheel to wheel through Luffield. Tremendous racing, but the race leader at the end of the lap is going to be Louis Delatraz. In 2nd spot coming through now, it is Sasahara. In 3rd is O'Keefe, and then 4th across the timing line Dennis Olsen. 5th is Darius Osqui, and in 6th place going strongly Harrison Scott, who tries to make a move up on the inside there against Osqui, working their way then now through Copse Corner, sprinting up towards the Beckett's S's for the 2nd time. But at the end of lap 1, Delatraz 3 seconds to the good, a tremendous advantage that he's been able to pull out here. The rest of the pack work their way through Beckett's. Now Sasahara needs to shake off O'Keefe and start going after the race leader if he can. It's not going to be easy because the advantage is a huge one already. But Delatraz it is who leads the way then at the end of that opening lap by over 3 seconds. Very impressive indeed. As there, look, Harrison Scott makes his move up on the inside. He levels there with Osqui going through Stowe. He's ahead of him as well. So Harrison Scott up into 5th place. Good move. Down to the end of Vale. Callan O'Keefe still doing his best to come back at Ukio Sasahara, and he is indeed a little bit closer. There's Colin Noble in the black car, who went for Radical Racing up into Formula Renault BARC, the sort of club-level British Championship that's been another casualty of the changing face of international single-seater racing in recent years. And now Colin Noble coming into the Northern European Cup and going strongly as well as the field works its way for the 2nd time up towards the loop. Good little fight going on down the order as well here as the cars work their way into Village. But up front it is Delatraz leading by 3 seconds from Sasahara in 2nd spot. In 3rd it remains Callan O'Keefe. And what else is yet to shake out of this little group? You can see number 16 Nikita Mazepin, the Russian driver. At 16 years of age, Mazepin is the youngest driver on the grid and trying to gain ground now as well as they work their way down towards Brooklands. Mazepin making a move up on the inside there to try and get ahead of Josef Zaruba, and he achieves it, so he goes through. But Delatraz is just driving off into the distance. He's already gone across the line, and there's nobody else anywhere near him whatsoever. The gap is now 4.7 seconds. Sasahara 2nd is keeping at bay Callan O'Keefe. Good scrap between those two. Another good little fight's about to emerge here from Woodcote, because going over the timing line there Luke Chudley was one of the drivers trying to gain places as well. For second and third places, Callan O'Keefe is still stuck behind Okio Sasahara, but in fourth place, the red and blue car of Dennis Olsen is starting to close up as well now. These three starting to get themselves together, all of which plays into the hands of Delatraz. Sasahara it is in second spot still. First is Callan O'Keefe, and then fourth, closing, is Dennis Olsen as they work their way through Stowe Corner once more. Olsen could become the threat in all of this, because if he can get himself onto the back of Callan O'Keefe's car, then he might well be able to make a move not only against him but also against Sasahara, because Sasahara cannot shake off O'Keefe. To the end of Vale comes the next little group. Still fifth is Osqui versus Harrison Scott, sixth. Seventh is Kevin Jurg, not really making the progress anticipated. There is Jurg working his way out of club, new to Silverstone, bear in mind. In eighth place, it's Ignacio D'Agusto, and then behind him, Colin Noble, and to round out the top 10, Alex Gill. So you've got the two Brits there running together. The black and red car is Colin Noble, the red and white car is in the hands of Alex Gill, and as they work their way round Village, ahead is this battle that's still raging on. Kevin Jurg looking for a way to try and find himself up past the traffic. If anything, I fear he's lost out on this lap, hasn't he? Because Ignacio D'Agusto has got himself up and past. Down towards Brooklands they come. Check the order off at the end of the lap, but the easy part of this is that Louis Delatraz, who came out of the Formula BMW Talent Cup a few years ago into Formula Renault, is dominating proceedings now. He works his way through the right hander of Woodcourt as you're looking at the midfield battles threading their way up towards Luffield. That long right. Leader through. 3 seconds became 4.7, became 5.1. Delatraz still pulling away from Sasahara. O'Keefe, Olsen, Osqui, Scott sixth. Seventh is Ignacio D'Agusto, so down to 8th is Jurg, 9th is Noble, 10th is Alex Gill. There, as the cars work their way round Copse, 11th place now, 21, is Enrique Chavez, and in 12th place, Josef Zaruba. So who's the one that's dropped back? Charlie Eastwood, I think, has fallen down the order a little bit. So the cars now work their way through Copse once again. Heading now down towards Stowe Corner is the race leader, and it's a very impressive effort, this, by Louis Delatraz. He was here last year racing in the Formula Renault 2-litre Northern European Cup, but going strongly as we've got the rest of the field turning their way out of Chapel Curve, and an effort being made there, look, by Colin Noble to get himself up alongside a struggling Kevin Jurg. So much for him making progress, which was the pre-race prediction. Now he's having to fight this rear guard action to keep at bay Colin Noble. 8th and 9th together as they come down through Vale. Noble looks at the inside. He's got to be careful not to let Alex Gill get up the inside as well. Gill can't do it there. Thinks about the outside at the end of Vale. Realises that's not an option. Around the right-hander of Club Corner they come. And now the run up towards Abbey once more. Because Noble got stuck behind Jurg, so Gill has caught up to him, so Gill tries to attack, so Noble has to defend, so Jurg pulls away. That's how it works sometimes in Slicks and Wings single-seater racing. The nice thing about Silverstone is there are places where you can get a tow. It's a nice wide lap as well. And as they work their way up towards the loop, 9th and 10th for two British drivers, Colin Noble versus Alex Gill. Different teams as well, NGR Motorsport versus Fortec. And Alex Gill, one of the rookie drivers as well, comes down now towards the left-hander at Brooklands. Alex Gill up from Formula Renault BARC, heading into the braking zone. Into the stadium they come, as out of the stadium and over the timing line now has just gone Louis Delatraz. The lead he's got is huge. Sasahara is still second, O'Keefe is third and not doing anything about him. And the rest of the order runs like this. 4th, Dennis Olsen. 5th, Darius Osqui. 6th, Harrison Scott. 7th, Ignacio D'Agusto. 8th, Kevin Jurg. 9th, Colin Noble. 10th, Alex Gill. And 11th, great little battle going on now as we have coming over the timing line Enrique Chavez and Josef Zaruba. But also Charlie Eastwood is going strongly. Enrique Chavez goes through, number 21. So 16.5 minutes still on the clock. 11th place battle now. Chavez versus Zaruba. Zaruba up ahead this time, coming out of the Beckett's S's. The two of them trading places right the way around the lap. Onto Hanger Straight they come, and these two fighting for 11th place. Now on the run down towards the fast right-hander. Delatraz, even though he leads by over 5 seconds, continues to bang in quick sector times. He's now done the absolute best within the first sector. Don't forget, of course, at this time of the race, fuel load is down and tyre temperature is up, all of which adds, of course, to a driver's speed. Out of club comes the Enrique Chavez, Josef Zaruba fight. Zaruba ahead at the moment as they come through Club Corner, past the Formula 1 pits, the new pits and the wing, up towards the right-hander of Abbey, and then left through Farm. Still accelerating all the way through that sort of S, elongated S section. Then it's hard on the brakes through Village, burst of acceleration, and then stand on everything and turn into the very tight left at the loop. And then through Aintree Corner onto Wellington Straight, at the end of which is the race leader, Louis Delatraz, who is way clear of anybody else. Delatraz for Josef Kaufmann Racing, looking for a second win of the year. He's got 15 minutes still to go, but he's absolutely blitzed the rest of them in this. It's a mighty, mighty effort. He comes through now with Ukio Sasahara in second spot. Sasahara comes over the timing line. He'll just glimpse in the background there ahead of Callan O'Keefe. The gap second to third is 0.7 of a second. Another second back is Dennis Olsen in the red and blue car. Fifth goes through Osqui. Orange car, Harrison Scott. Behind him, seventh is D'Agusto. Then it's Jurg, Noble, and Alex Gill rounds out the top 10. Josef Zaruba is 11th. Enrique Chavez is 12th. And Charlie Eastwood goes through there in 13th place now. The Northern Irishman, but he runs under an Irish licence. Indeed gets funding from Southern Ireland rather than Northern Ireland, but he is a Northern Irish driver. Comes through Beckett's S's now for the 6th time. 14 minutes are still on the clock. Lap times in the race. The best is a 59.5 set by the charging Delatraz. Everyone lapping now, but they've got into a rhythm at the 2-minute mark. So another 6-7 laps ahead of us in this third round of the championship. The race leader, Louis Delatraz, then continues to scamper away. Delatraz, who was one of the front runners in 2014. He was a race winner at Monza last season. He was a race winner at Monza this season. He potentially is going to be a race winner here as well. You could argue that given his experience now, third year of Formula Renault, that so Delatraz jolly well ought to be a race winner, but he's not done anything wrong. He's not put a wheel out of line, and so he's building the lead all the while. Behind him, though, the gaps are opening up a little bit now, aren't they? So Sasahara looking a bit more secure in second place, or is he? Because coming onto Wellington Straight, Callan O'Keefe is doing his best to stay with him. Down they come into the left at Brooklands. There is Callan O'Keefe, second year in this championship, race winner last year, and no Silverstone as well. In fact, he was one of the front runners here last year. He got tangled up with Seb Morris in one race, the first race, and Seb went on to win the second, but Callan O'Keefe comes through then over the timing line. 7/10 back. He was a second back. He is now from Ukio Sasahara, the championship leader Sasahara. Another man who really struggled in qualifying was Jahan Daruvala, fourth in the championship, and in the race Daruvala has got himself up to 15th, having started 20th, so a little bit of progress made, but nothing like what he was anticipating doing this weekend, given good pace at Monza last time out. 12 more minutes are on the clock as they're sprinting out of the Beckett's S's. Goes Darius Osqui, another of the drivers for the ART junior team. Osqui running in 5th place, and at the moment he is the leading rookie as well. The second of the rookies, Alex Gill. The third of the rookies is Nikita Mazepin, and he's way down at the moment in 14th place. The rookie competition introduced this year. So 12 minutes on the clock still. Louis Delatraz lead last time actually came down ever so slightly by about 0.3 of a second. So it's down to 4.9 seconds. Is it going to be coming down any more so that he's under threat before the end of the race? I can't see it, but stranger things have happened. Race leaders then currently work lap 7 to the end of Vale. This is Jahan Daruvala up into 15th place. Daruvala having made that progress, as I say, from 20th on the grid, 4th in the championship, and Daruvala for Fortec. His first year of car racing, he's come out of karts, and have a look at the livery of the car and you might think it's reminiscent of an F1 car. Well, you're right, he's part of the Force India junior driver scheme, and therefore Vijay Mallya and his operation looking out for Jahan Daruvala. First time at Silverstone, and he works his way now left into the loop. As he turns through Aintree, the leader is coming out of Woodcote. Such is the way the field has strung itself out. But Louis Delatraz, whose father Jean Denis is here to cheer him on, goes through, puts 7 laps in the book. Is the lead going up? Is the lead coming down? It's come down again, in fact, because that time around another couple of tenths pulled back by Ukio Sasahara. So it's down to 4.7 seconds. I'm not suggesting necessarily that Delatraz will be caught by the end, but it might just be that he's driving within himself. Certainly, though, that gap has come down 2 laps in a row now. Field files through Woodcote over the timing line. Onto the hanger straight now comes Louis Delatraz with a 4.7 second cushion starting this lap. Race order you can see behind it: Sasahara, O'Keefe, Olsen, then Osquit, Scott, Augusto, Jurg, Noble, Gills, Aruba, Chavez, Eastwood, Mazepin, Daruvula 15th, and then to round out the top 16 at the moment, it is Ferdinand Habsburg, the Austrian for Fortec. Now, Callan O'Keefe, who runs in 3rd place, has just on this lap of the race, which is lap 8, done the absolute best of anybody within the first sector. There he is. Now, part of the reason he's able to do that, of course, is because he's dropped back from Sasahara, and therefore he's not now worried about dirty air. He's so far back, he's out of the dirty air. He can push on that little bit harder. If he were to catch up, he'd then have to make the pass very, very quickly. Otherwise, he gets stuck in the dirty airflow and drops back again. But if he does start to challenge Sasahara as well, that takes some of the pressure off Delatraz. It's all rather elasticated up at the front of the field. There is Dennis Olsen running in 4th spot. Through he comes, out of the loop, on the power. Good little fight here. Daruvula having a real go to try to get himself up past Nikita Mazepin. Behind them is Ferdinand Habsburg, so there's a good scrap going on, although Habsburg is under attack, look, as they work their way towards us because to the outside line. Robin Hansen there in the blue and white car tries to go through. Hansen then up alongside on the outside. Oh, no, you don't. Ferdinand Habsburg hangs onto the place, and they're both being caught as well by Luke Chudley, who is not far behind either. The leader has gone through onto lap number 9 now, Delatraz. The battles are coming sort of lower down the field, midfield and even lower than that at the moment. How's O'Keefe doing against Sasahara? The gap is up, but Sasahara to Delatraz, another couple of tenths pulled back. It's not enough, is it, to get in there in time? But he's doing the right thing. He's going the right way about it. 8.5 minutes of the race remain as the field sprints its way through Woodcote Corner. Look back, there is 24, Robin Hansen, 17th he runs as he comes over the timing line. Hansen, who was the BMW Talent Cup winner a couple of years ago, drove in this series last year. He drives for the Fragus BR Motorsport team, and with 8 more minutes on the clock, Delatraz in the first sector is quicker than Sasahara, but let's see whether in sectors 2 and 3 Sasahara is able to bring down that gap. Through goes Luke Chudley. Lower down the order as the leaders now come onto Hanger Straight once again and down through Vale. In fact, they will turn as you look at this midfield group. Ferdinand Habsburg's yellow car keeping at bay there. Robin Hansen, who turns his way through Stowe. Down Vale now they go, at the end of which it's left and then right into Club, which is this long, elongated corner now that seems to go on forever. The drivers have to be so patient. Only now can they really nail the throttle and pull the car out the other side of the corner. Jahan Daruvula, the second of these drivers, still looking for a way to get himself up past 16-year-old Nikita Mazepin as they go now round the right at Abbey, left at Farm, and this is the sprint now up towards the right-hander village. 7 minutes to go, and as they head up towards the loop, the leader, Louis Delatraz, is coming towards the timing line. Such is his pace. And even though Sasahara has been trying to close, he ain't going to get there in time. Daruvula still attacking, but he's stuck now in that dirty air generated by Mazepin's car ahead of him. Over the line they go, the leader's through, 4.4 seconds, it's come down again. This is the fight, the battle pack for 14th place. Mazepin versus Daruvula, working their way round the left at Brooklands, up towards Luffield. Sympathise really with Daruvula because he's done all the hard work to get himself up there onto the back of Mazepin, but he cannot find a way by. Very wide in the background, Ferdinand Habsburg, but he recovers from that. Heads up towards the timing line now. 6 minutes and change on the clock as they go through and work their way down towards Copse Corner once more. Race order, you can see on the screen, it's still Delatraz, Sasahara, O'Keefe, Olsen, Osquit, Scott, the top 6. The lead gap, 4.4 seconds. And again, last time just fractionally quicker was Sasahara, but he's got too much to make up in not enough time. 6 minutes remain. down the hanger straight once more. This battle for 14th is becoming a three-way fight because Ferdinand Habsburg is almost as close to the back of Jahan Deruvala as Deruvala is to the back of Nikita Mazepin. Round Stoke corner goes the bright yellow car in the hands, looking further down the order, of Dries Vanthoor, the younger brother of Laurens Vanthoor, the GT star. And Dries Vanthoor, who went well at Monza, had a cheeky look up the inside, and he's done it. He's gained a place, in fact, there. Vanthoor goes ahead of Luke Chudley. Saw the move start, saw the move finish, and so Dries Vanthoor goes up a place. He was quick but unlucky at Monza. Hasn't been as quick here, but he's racing at Silverstone for the first time, benefiting perhaps from elder brother's advice. And if he's as good in a GT car in the future as his brother, Laurens had better watch out. But for the moment, Dries wanting to try and forge a career in single-seater racing. A challenge there made by Deruvala. Thought it was going to end in tears for a moment. Mazepin gave him racing room. Deruvala gets sideways. Ferdinand Habsburg, if he's close enough, might be able to buy into this and take advantage as the cars now power their way down towards the left-hander at Brooklands. You can see the white car with the red nose of Mazepin having to defend. To the outside line goes Deruvala. Can he drive all the way around the outside? It is possible, but he's going to leave the door open for Ferdinand Habsburg, who gets up the inside now. Habsburg is ahead, going into Luffield. Outside line and sideways will conspire against him. And Deruvala hangs onto the plate in the black and silver car. Habsburg's multicoloured car then, run by Vortex, slots back in behind and almost alongside coming into Woodcote. Tries to force the line on the inside. They're not quite wheel to wheel coming past the pits, but they are oh so close. Habsburg has a look, can't do it. And so Jahan Deruvala not only comes out of the corner ahead, but actually a little bit closer to the back of Mazepin. We are getting driving standards warnings, one for Callan O'Keefe and one also for Luke Chudley lower down the order. South African driver and also Canadian drivers being warned. So 4 minutes to go, and Mazepin has managed to repel the challenge from Jahan Deruvala. He's hung on to his 14th place and he's still in there, still fighting. Drivers work their way now down towards Stowe. Robin Hansen comes up to have a go on the outside of Ferdinand Habsburg and he goes through. That puts him up into 16th place, so Hansen benefiting and also trying to buy into this. Look, the yellow car of Dries Vanthoor as they come down towards the end of Vale. Jahan Deruvala once again tries to attack, but still repelled by Mazepin. So Mazepin 14, then it's Deruvala, then it's Hansen, then Habsburg, and up the inside tries to go Vanthoor. Up towards as they come now. The quick flick right at Abbey. Ferdinand Habsburg then dropping away a little bit, having been forced off line at a couple of corners. Loses the time and comes under attack from Dries Vanthoor, who goes for the inside and takes the place nicely going into Village. But back on the inside comes Habsburg up to the loop and had to back out of that and give Vanthoor racing room. Vanthoor slides his way up onto the curb as into the last 3 minutes of the race. The leaders have got 2 more laps to go, therefore. They just started this lap, lap 12. Up to the timing line there is 21. Now that is Enrique Chavez, still chasing Josef Zaruba. Dries Vanthoor, just a quick word about, because he fell away early on. He was in 15th spot, fell down on the early laps and has had to claw his way back into contention. So part of the learning process for young drivers still in his teens. Through the Beckett's S's go the race leaders. Colin Noble you're looking at ahead of Alex Gill, then Josef Zaruba up ahead of Enrico Chavez as the cars turn their way through the right-hander. Now left at Chapel Curve onto the hanger straight once more. So we've got 1 minute and 55 on the clock. There'll be time to complete this and do one more lap. And that takes us to the end of the 25 minutes. It's time, not laps. And so it'll be this and one more, given the way that Louis Delatraz is going, because you're looking at the fight for 11th and he's way up the road. Delatraz having really dominated this race and putting himself in the box seat, I think, to do the double this weekend, because in terms of pure pace, nobody has got anywhere near him. Out of club corner comes the 11th place duel. Still Zaruba ahead of Chavez. There you can see how the gaps have been over the last few laps, never really much more than half a second. The two of them still running together. They're teammates at AVF, so the last thing they need is to come to grief. But it's getting close on occasions, isn't it? Enrique Chavez's car is the one with the blue side pods. The white side pods carried by Josef Zaruba just up ahead of him. And with 1 minute to go, the race leader Louis Delatraz will come over the timing line in a moment. He does so now And so we're on the last lap of the race with 56 seconds on the clock now as we look down towards Brooklands and wait to see whether, yes, Chavez will make a move against Aruba, and through he goes for 11th place. Enrique Chavez goes through, gains the place, puts himself up ahead of his teammate at AVF, so Josef Aruba falls back. Enrique Chavez goes up one, works his way towards Woodcote Corner. Good move that, worked himself into a nice position coming through the loop, through Aintree. Stood his ground in the toe all the way down the straight and then made his move coming into Brooklands. But this is a dominant Delatraz. Louis Delatraz works his way down towards Stowe Corner, and the Swiss driver is about to turn his way through the fast right, down through Vale. Delatraz started the year very much as one of the favourites, but had a bit of a culture shock at Monza given the way that Sasahara went so effectively. But here, he's put some of those demons to bed. He has been dominant through the qualifying session for this first race, and again now come the race itself. Out of club, the run now up past the wing, heading towards Abbey. In the background is Ukio Sasahara, and the gap having come down to 4.1 seconds, but there's just no stopping Delatraz, it seems, in this race now. In his credit as well, there have been no track limits warnings against him either. He's just got on with the job absolutely properly. Those Dries Vanthoor turning his way through. Now Vanthoor 17th, recovering after losing places early on. Further up the road, the blue and white car there of Robin Hansen is on the back of Johan de Ruvela, who is still stuck to the back of Nikita Mazepin and can't find a way past him. And de Ruvela's world now is a lot more busy because he's got to try and defend and attack all at the same time. But Louis Delatraz turns his way through Brooklands. Now up towards Laffield. He's been in the lead since the lights went out. On this last lap, Sasahara has done the best of anybody in the middle sector, but it's all too little too late, because up now towards the timing line, it is going to be a second win of the year for Louis Delatraz, who wins in the Formula Renault 2-litre Northern European Cup at Silverstone. He comes across the line, the winner. In second place, Ukio Sasahara, who did two absolute bests in sectors on the last lap and brought the gap down to 3.4 seconds. Too little, too late. Third, Callan O'Keefe. Fourth, Dennis Olsen. Fifth, Darius Osqui. But we're not done yet, because here for 14th place, Nikita Mazepin, Johan de Ruvela, Robin Hansen as one, dive down towards Brooklands. Up the outside, tries to go de Ruvela. That forces the door to be left open. Up the inside comes Robin Hansen, who's going to split the pair of them. And Hansen, if he's really good here, might even be able to dart out at the last moment and get up alongside as they come through Woodcote. Hansen goes for the inside. Can he level? No, he can't quite do it. Nikita Mazepin 14th by 67 thousandths of a second ahead of Robin Hansen, and Johan de Ruvela gets forced down a place right at the very end. So 15th he was for the bulk of the race, and 16th when it matters at flagfall. But Louis Delatraz under no pressure, because early on cold tyres, don't forget as well, he was able to break away, leaving Sasahara and O'Keefe to squabble over second place. And so Louis Delatraz then leading at the end of lap one by 3 seconds, able to build the advantage thereafter and break the opposition. So Louis Delatraz it is who takes the race honours. As I say, at Monza in the first race, he had a drive-through penalty after a grid infringement and therefore lost points in that race, but he's fought back nicely now in the championship. One more race at Silverstone, and then the series moves on to the Red Bull Ring, to Spa, to Assen, to the Nürburgring and to the Hockenheim Ring before the very end of the year. That's where it will all be decided, with 3 races indeed that weekend. So Sasahara was 17 points ahead of Delatraz coming into this race, and Delatraz will have pulled back 6 points on him. So Sasahara still has the advantage. It's still a little unclear as to how many rounds Sasahara will do this season. We were told at Monza it was Monza and no more, but he's back at Silverstone, and I suspect that if he keeps on scoring well and is in a good position in the championship, that might persuade him to stay on and do the Red Bull Ring, and then see how many more rounds he does. But Delatraz is victorious for the Josef Kaufmann racing team. He's let some of the others go on this slowing down lap, but he will make his way in a moment down the pit lane and then to the podium, with Ukio Sasahara and Callan O'Keefe as second and third, and Darius Osqui, the winning rookie. Confirmation of the results of round 3 of the Formula Renault 2-litre Northern European Cup at Silverstone. Louis Delatraz the winner from Ukio Sasahara, and then Callan O'Keefe. Dennis Olsen 4th ahead of Darius Osqui. Harrison Scott 6th, first time out in the NEC, ahead of Ignacio D'Agosto. Then it's Kevin Jurg, Colin Noble and Alex Gill, the top 10. Enrique Chavez 11th, ahead of Josef Zaruba on that penultimate lap. Behind them, 13th spot goes the way of Charlie Eastwood, ahead of 16-year-old Nikita Mazepin. Then Robin Hansen ahead of Johan de Ruvela and Dries Van Thor. Ferdinand Habsburg is next ahead of Luke Chudley, with Zachary Clement de Mello way back in 20th, ahead of Pontus Friedrichsen. Bartolomei Miretsky comes next ahead of Raul Raj Meyer, and David Rechert a long way back in 24th place. And Max de Forney, one that went missing very early on in the race. Let's hear from the winner, Louis Delatraz. He's with OJ Borg.
The helmet's just coming off as we say hello to Louis Delatraz, and that wasn't just a win, that was a domineering win.
Yeah, it was always some perfect race, good start, and then we led all laps, so good pace. Really good job by the team, we're really happy.
You say it's a good job by the team, but you led from pole all the way to the flag. What is it that you like so much about driving these cars?
I don't know, I really like the car, the setting is really good, the team is doing a good job, and yeah, I'm just doing my best, work hard, and it's working really well.
And talk me through the feelings of driving here at Silverstone this weekend.
The track is awesome. I got used to it last year, but really I love it.
Louis, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
A job well done, certainly, by Louis Delatraz then. There's his dad with Alain Menu, so a very Swiss gathering. The drivers in a moment will be whisked up to the podium. Nice to see Alain Menu here. Still think we ought to get Alain in a Blancpain GT drive, but he's still involved as a driver coach at Team BMR. So we have the race win for Louis Delatraz. Let's have a look at some of the best bits of round 3 here at Silverstone. As the lights went out, Delatraz from pole position was able to get the best start, sprinted away on the run down towards Copse Corner. Behind him, he was able to leave Sasahara to battle with Callan O'Keefe, and he then worked his way clear as the cars turned their way up towards Beckett's for the first time. Delatraz, once he'd hit the front, was unstoppable. He continued to build the advantage. He was over 3 seconds ahead at the end of the opening lap, and as Sasahara had to defend early on from Callan O'Keefe, that enabled him to pull away even further. Good battle between Ferdinand Habsburg and Robin Hansen's blue car. Hansen was all over him like the proverbial rash. Eventually, he was able to find a way by. Johan de Ruvela worked his way up from 20th to 15th, and then got stuck. He could not find a way past Nikita Mazepin. Try as he might. Sideways coming out of the loop, Mazepin was able to defend very strongly indeed. Then Ferdinand Habsburg joined in the group, but he went sideways at Luffield and left the door open, and Robin Hansen's bid to gain places started very effectively indeed. Good battle for 11th, a change as well between the AVF teammates as in the end, upper place Enrique Chavez to go ahead of Josef Zaruba. But Louis Delatraz, the race winner, and he took victory in the end by 3.4 seconds, a second win of the year for the speedy Swiss. And so the drivers then getting ready for the podium ceremony. They will be there very shortly, with Louis Delatraz set to celebrate for the second time this year. And Ukio Sasahara, perhaps more than a little frustrated not having been able to do anything about the race winner. We'll have the top rookie as well, Darius Oskwi, to make his way onto the podium. Callan O'Keefe third. He tried so hard to find a way past Sasahara, but it was not to be. But he does get himself onto the podium in third place, and that's his best finish of the year. Second is the winner of the opening race at Monza, Ukio Sasahara, and the top step will go the way of Louis Delatraz. And with it, the national anthem of the winning driver. We have to wait, don't we, because we have Darius Oskwi, forgive me, who's there as the winning junior. As he's a Swiss driver as well, he can join the celebrations of Louis Delatraz. So Louis Delatraz on the top step of the podium, and in a moment will receive his winner's trophy, and a very happy man indeed, because that was a dominant display. The Josef Kaufmann team represented on the podium as well, and of course they have one more race tomorrow, so it's going to be fascinating to see whether or not it's going to be as impressive a drive by Delatraz when we get to race 2. But the opposition has certainly had a marker laid down there, because the way that Delatraz has gone, mighty impressive indeed. Yes, he's got the experience of a Formula Renault car, but still a very good job done indeed. The trophy is then presented in reverse order, and Caro de Vlaming, who is the press officer for the championship, hands over the trophy to Louis Delatraz, and he of course is going to be the man to beat in the second race of the weekend. Trophies to the winning teams, trophies to the winning drivers, and indeed the winning rookie, and very shortly they will be able to start their celebrations in earnest. In fact, there are certainly more trophies to be given yet. There's Osqui receiving his trophy. So tomorrow we have round 4 of the Formula Renault 2-litre Northern European Cup. It will start at 10:25 local time, so join us for that tomorrow here to see if Delatraz can do the double. But for now, from David Addison at Silverstone, bye-bye.